To start, remove the front wheel from the vehicle. Remove the nut and bolt holding the strut fork to the lower control arm. Detach the sway bar from the end link. Under the hood, remove the rubber weather seal holding the engine trim to the body seam. Slide the plastic trim forward and remove from the vehicle to gain access to the strut's mount. Remove the 3 nuts holding the strut's top mount to the shock tower. These nuts will likely be covered by painted plastic plugs that will need to be removed. You can now pull down on the hub and remove the strut from the vehicle. Using spring compressors, remove the top nut holding the top mount to the spring. Place the factory top mount onto the Raceland coilover and be sure that the mount is placed in the correct position on the spring. Secure the mount with the supplied nut. Align the mount studs into the shock tower and pull down on the hub to slide the strut fork onto the control arm. Reinstall the 3 nuts holding the mount to the shock tower. Place the plastic engine trim into place, slide towards the rear of the car, and press the weather seal back onto the body seam. Slide the factory bolt through the strut fork and the lower control arm and tighten the nut to secure the strut. Reattach the sway bar to the end link. You can now reinstall the front wheel as the installation for this corner is complete. To begin the rear, remove the rim from the vehicle. Remove the nut and bolt holding the control arm to the shock mount. Remove the nut and bolt holding the strut to the lower control arm. Remove the 4 bolts holding the strut's mount to the body of the vehicle. There will be 2 on each side of the spring and 2 at the top of the mount. You can now pull down on the hub and remove the strut from the vehicle. Using spring compressors, remove the nut and bolt holding the strut's top bushing to the mount. Slide the Raceland coilover into the strut mount and reinstall the nut and bolt to secure the coilover to the mount. Pull down on the hub and slide the coilover into position on the body and into the control arm. Reinstall the 4 bolts that hold the strut mount to the body of the vehicle. Slide the factory bolt through the coilover and lower control arm and tighten with the factory nut. Reattach the control arm to the top mount arm. You can now reinstall the rear wheel as the installation for this corner is complete.